Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
Skating on the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In rubber tongues, we find our glory. His skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington, we put our trust to the test. On the ice, we fight and we must, for the city we love. In the blue, no we'll thrust.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 153 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews, presented by Scooters Coffee. And I'm not going to read the rest of it because we got shit to talk about and we got a Blues game to watch. So we're just going to go through it. So go buy Scooters Coffee. That's all you need to know. Dakota is back. What's up, Dakota?
What's up? We've made it past the trade deadline. We're still here to talk about it, and that's good news. Blues are on a heater. I'm sure we'll dive into that, but it's good to come back and talk some Blues hockey, boys. Cheers.
All right. And special guest this week, last minute, just got him on earlier today / yesterday, is Justin Scott. Justin, welcome back.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you reaching out to me. We talked about this before, how I reached out to you and asked you if you had any openings, and you said no, and then you come up with this spur of the moment. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I enjoyed being on this show the last time, so I'm looking to have a good time.
All right. And we got kind of a perfect little live viewing / podcast setup for you guys. You guys can hang out with us for the next hour or so until puck drop. And then Justin and Guy, the Hawaii Blues fan at the Blue Note Fan Report, do a pretty good during the game / intermission. You guys do record the whole game, right, Justin?
Yes, we watched the whole game. Yep.
Okay, so you guys can catch them on, especially for those of you that just hate listening to Vitaly and Kerber. You guys can go ahead and listen to Justin and Guy. All right. It feels like the trade deadline was a long time ago. I guess with just so much news and so much that happened, and especially so quickly. On that trade deadline day. It feels like it was forever ago. But before we get to Schenn and Falk, Justin was actually messaging me and brought this up. I want to get to the elephant in the room, which is Colton Parayko. And Justin, just your thoughts on, is Colton Parayko public enemy number one because he could have, quote, hurt the Blues' future by using his no trade clause?
Well, first of all, Colton Parayko's, for me personally, no, he's not number one in my eyes, but a lot of fans are not happy. I saw a lot of discourse. I don't know how much of that you guys saw physically on comments and stuff like that, especially on the video where he talked about why he declined or he didn't talk about it specifically, but why he decided that he wanted to stay here and how he loved the city and loved the fans. A lot of negative feedback there. For me, it's unwarranted. I don't understand why you hate the man that earned the opportunity to have a contractual right to deny going to Buffalo. Now, my problem with this situation is actually not Colton Parayko. It's not Doug Armstrong. He has a little bit of a blame because he does put the NTCs on people, but this was not an NTC that was signed like 6 months ago. Parayko's had this NTCs for, 3-4 seasons now? So it shouldn't be a surprise that he's had that on his contract. My problem is the fact that a Buffalo media member leaked this supposed trade way, way too early. And it probably got back to Parayko. It probably hurt the chances of that trade possibly going through, or Parayko's thoughts on it from the Blues management to himself. But I do know that Colton Parayko is a professional. He's probably handled it pretty well. I think he is still handling it well. But for me, that was my problem with the situation, was the media member breaking it too early.
Yeah, reading the article from Jeremy Rutherford on The Athletic about how Doug Armstrong was pissed that happened and ordered a full investigation of all emails and texts from employees, because he said I guess he pretty much told the people that work for the St. Louis Blues of, if you did it, you're fired. Like there was no oh, don't do it again. It was you're gone.
Yeah.
Dakota, what were your thoughts on Parayko using his no trade clause?
I mean, to piggyback on what Justin was saying, yeah, it just kind of sucks that happened the way it did. I really do, in fact, enjoy trade deadline, because you see everybody going back and forth talking amongst, whether it be Twitter, whether it be NHL.com, whether it be The Athletic. Everybody kind of has their bits and pieces of information that they're trying not to let you get too much into, but also you're like, we're all hockey fans. We all want to know who's going where and why and how much it's going to cost and whatnot. I was okay with him not waiving his or him waiving his no trade. Jesus, him not waiving his no trade. We're still talking. We're trying to get through the English.
Words are hard.
I think I texted. We have a group between Jake and his brother, and Luke has been very, very prevalent on the let's just sell the house. I'm very much let's keep this shit together. So when Luke sent, he might be waiving it, I was like, no. And then they were like, well, he didn't waive it. I was like, yes. So I was very excited. I was happy to have him back. I still think he has a lot to offer to the team. I mean, for all intents and purposes, I still think we need a decent decor if we're going to build on something. And Parayko's still a young defenseman in the NHL, and he just has something that not a lot of people we can get for, right? He's got an absolute shot on him. When he gets in the way, it works. I do think he needs to move his feet a little bit better, but I was happy to see him stay put. Long story short, but yeah, knowing that it kind of got leaked that way, it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth as a fan. But I can't imagine how Parayko feels in that scenario, being like public enemy number one, being like, well, why wouldn't you waive it? Get out of here. But also, hey, he won a cup with us. Somehow, some way, he's still going to be, looked at as a Blues Hall of Famer, and I think, rightfully so.
For me, Parayko is a guy that, and I saw this a lot. I even saw comments saying that Blues fans should go out and boo him on home ice, tonight. And I just think that that's just crazy to blame Parayko for not going to Buffalo. I hate to break it to most of the Blues fans out there. Buffalo they're having a great season over there. They're going to probably break their playoff drought. One good season in Buffalo and finally making the playoffs isn't automatically going to allow for players to want to go to Buffalo. So even if this story did not break early, I still don't think Colton Parayko waives his trade clause to go to Buffalo. Buffalo to me. We talk about this a lot on our show. Buffalo is not really a destination place. There's destination places. I think St. Louis is a destination city to live in. I think there's just cities that embody the sports feel and kind of the just the energy that some towns and cities bring to certain things. And I just don't see Buffalo as a staple. Yes, they're young. They're getting exciting. But I still don't think Parayko wants to leave St. Louis. I think his ties here in St. Louis are still very, very strong.
All right. I mean, there is something to be said for the fact that Parayko, could have left St. Louis, a team that's looking for a top 5 pick in the draft, and gone to Buffalo, a team that has a lot of excitement just around the league, but also in Buffalo, and helped them, break that playoff drought, like you mentioned, and continue to maybe make the playoffs a couple more years. So he says no. And then Torrey Krug also says no of going to historic Philadelphia Flyers, and decides he wants to stay in St. Louis before, he hasn't played since, but like that, even if that trade went through, he might have failed a physical. So the Torrey Krug and Parayko situation are just a little bit different to me because of where each team was. Buffalo is on the rise, or they're on the up and up. They're they're going to be in the playoffs. The Flyers were not really in that position.
it was not surprising to see Krug not lift his trade clause either. At the end of the day, it worked out because, he's, sadly he couldn't come back and play. Without, like, if we had Torrey Krug, things for this Blues team would look different. We wouldn't have Dylan Holloway. We wouldn't have Phil Broberg, who I think is slowly but surely becoming a number one defenseman for this team. This team would look drastically different if you still had his contract on the books. But the situations are a little different, and a lot of people make comparisons to Pietrangelo with Parayko. They're like, oh, well, Pietrangelo is great. I still want him back, and I want this and that. But what people don't understand is Pietrangelo was just as much or even more to blame for him leaving St. Louis. That wasn't just a Armstrong St. Louis thing. That was Pietrangelo wanted to leave. If he wanted to stay here, he could have stayed. And that's what most people forget. So I don't understand banging on a guy that wants to be here in St. Louis and play for the Blue Note and play for you fans, and you want to hate on him. Why?
Yeah, over a no movement clause and like an extra $1 million. Like that's extra $1 million a year. So, I mean, I think he signed a 7-year deal. So an extra $7 million. But for a professional hockey player, like you don't need that extra. Couple comments. Cody brought up originally frustrated with the trade because he loves Parayko, but then he saw the return and it was good. The expected return was is it Radim Berta, the number 6 overall pick?
I think it was 8. I think it was 8.
Okay.
I think it was 8.
But I had screenshotted the report from when he got drafted via the Athletic, and it essentially sounded like it was a young Parayko, like 6'6", big body, good defensively, not highly skilled offensively, but good enough kind of thing. Excellent skater. So it was like, oh, so we're getting Parayko in a younger version. But then also a first-round pick on top of that, and I think another prospect was supposed to be thrown in there. So there was a decent amount of a return, which gets you a little excited if you're looking for the future. Let's see. Greg says the city of Buffalo kind of sucks. Unless you like snow, then it's your place to be. And
I don't mean to sound like a douche and that type of comment. I just don't view Buffalo as a destination spot where players want to play. I mean, and I don't think that's too far of a stretch. I think you see it in every sport. The big spots where people want to go. I heard Parayko talking about how he would be willing to waive his no trade clause if he went to a team like Anaheim or LA. So those two teams are, in LA. Who wouldn't want to live in LA? So you're talking about destination spots, and I think that Buffalo is just not on that list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Kelsey says St. Louis is a destination city.
For some.
Yeah, for me, it's like when you think destination city, you're probably thinking like the Californias, you're thinking the Floridas, you're thinking
Vegas,
Toronto, Vegas, Toronto, New York. Those things. St. Louis, the reason that St. Louis is a destination city for hockey players is because of the Alumni Association and just the city itself. Not necessarily because they come here for the amazing weather or even the superior history of dominating hockey, because we only have one Stanley Cup. But the amount of alumni that live in this area and the amount of alumni that just are around and enjoy the suburbs of St. Louis is the reason that it's a destination.
Yeah, the organization treats players right. When they come here, the culture just seems to be up in St. Louis. Despite how they may play at certain points in the season, like we've had this season in the beginning portions, despite all that, the culture seems good here. The guys seem to always get along pretty well. They're a blue collar team. That's what, I agree with Jacob. That's what makes it a destination spot, not for the weather and not for any of that other stuff.
You're right. All right. While we have some listeners, I need to remind everybody that we do have a watch party coming up on Thursday. So it is Tuesday. So in 2 days, we will be at Fridays South in Collinsville, Illinois, to watch the Blues versus Carolina almost said Panthers because I've been watching a lot of football stuff with free agency football going on. The Carolina Hurricanes. That game starts at 6 p.m. I will be at Friday South by 5, and we'll hang out. There is a very good chance that this is potentially the last ever Blues Fan Forum podcast watch party, which is kind of scary. But I am moving to Colorado Springs this summer, so the podcast will still be going on because we're all virtual, so we're not going anywhere. But it will be hard to host watch parties when I'm 12 hours away. So everything that I've ever purchased and to have as giveaways or raffle tickets is what I'm bringing to this event. So I have like 3 or 4 blue signs. I have 2 jerseys that I'm raffling off. I got jerseys and t-shirts and sweatshirts and Scooters gift cards. And if you come to this event, you will walk away with a lot of fun, but you're also going to walk away with at minimum a Scooters gift card. So it'll be a good time. We'll have some fun. Thursdays, Friday South in Collinsville, Illinois. All right. Let's get into some of the trades. So Braden Shen returns to St. Louis tonight. Hopefully we can get off and get done in time in order to catch that. But he was traded to the New York Islanders in return for Braden Shen. We received a first-round pick for this year that is Colorado's, so we're really hoping that Colorado gets upset more than we already are because fuck Stan Kroenke. We also got New Jersey's third-round pick in 2026. We received forward Jonathan Drouin, who has this year and next year on his contract, and then a prospect goalie, Marcus Gidloff. All 4 of those items were coming in return for Braden Shen. Justin, what are your thoughts on that return?
I liked it. Initially, I thought that the Blues honestly got a great return for Braden Shen, and I still do because I do like the trade. I wish the draft pick would have been a little lower, but for me, I'm okay with that because the Blues seem to draft well late because that's usually where their wheelhouse is. I mean, this is going to be later, so you're talking about what is it, in that 28 through probably 30 spot probably where you're going to be drafting for that pick and whatnot. But I loved the fact that they got Jonathan Drouin in this deal. I was very shocked that type of piece came back. I don't think he's anything amazingly groundbreaking, but I think for the fact that he has NHL experience, that with how I feel how the Blues are, I do think the Blues are not that far off. So getting a piece like Jonathan Drouin who can actually help you now instead of holding on to something that may not pan out or, praying and hoping that something works out, I thought it was a good deal. I thought it was a really good deal. I like this deal probably a little better than the Falk deal, but, we'll get into that.
Dakota?
Yeah, Jonathan Drouin, 5'11", 190 is a little, beefcake. But I honestly did like that we got that in an exchange. Was surprised to kind of see his name as the exchange, but, I'm happy to kind of see him take this position and kind of run with it. I think he's going to be on the third line with
Suter,
Pavel Buchnevich, and Otto Stenberg tonight, I believe. So,
they got Suter on the fourth line tonight.
So I'm excited to kind of see what happens there. I mean, I think that hell, he scored a power play goal. I'm sure we're going to talk about the games, but hey, he scored a power play goal in his first game with the Blues. So, kid can shoot. I like the way he possesses the puck and likes to get down there and get dirty. But you hate to see Shen go, but see you, bitch. Sayonara. Thanks for all you did.
It was needed. It was needed.
It was needed, and pass the torch on to somebody else. Thanks for your contributions, and wish you all the best and success. But I think he's going to do well in New York. They needed somebody like that, and the Blues are obviously in a time of trying to figure out what pieces they need and what they don't, and obviously adding Jonathan Drouin, I think is going to be a very nice piece to kind of end the year.
Yeah, good depth to have.
Yeah, they had Shen playing on the second line, centering the second line for the Islanders in his first game. Cody says, great return. Did not expect Shen to pull back a first, let alone a first and a third. Even though that first is like a glorified second, and with it being Colorado's pick, there's a really good chance that that's the 32nd pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Sam was surprised by the Shen pick, or by the Shen trade. She thought that Shen would still be sticking around. Greg also agrees, really good return. Didn't see a first coming back. And then Greg wants to highlight that the best comment is "See you, bitch."
The thing why it was so easy for the Islanders to part ways with it because it wasn't their first round pick. It was Colorado's first round pick. So it makes it a little easier. So in the grand scheme of things, this was pretty even. I'm not going to say the Blues overwhelmingly won this trade, like I said in the beginning, but I'm going to say that the Shin needed, he needed to be gone. He was a guy that I said for sure needed to be gone at this deadline. So the fact that they did get the type of return that they did, I thought that they maximized the best trade that they could. If I think that's the best way I could put it.
All right. I mean, Jacob and I did bat 1,000. If any of you folks have tuned in the past 3 weeks, Jacob and I did hit and bat 1,000. We did say Falk and Shen adios, and hey, damn it if we were right.
I expected Joseph is gone, but I expected him to at least be traded for like a 6th round pick or a 5th round pick.
Yeah, something. Get something
Nobody
for
wanted him. That one was surprising. Kelsey did add that there was a protection on that pick. I think it is. I don't think that protection is as a part of like our trade with the Islanders. I think that protection was part of the Colorado trading that to the Islanders. But with Colorado playing so well, I don't think there's any worry about that pick moving to 2027. And then we also have the Falk trade. Justin Falk gets traded to Detroit. In return, we get Detroit's 1st round pick this year. We get San Jose's 3rd round pick this year. We also get forward Dmitry I will never be able to pronounce his name.
Buchnikov or something like that. Buchnikov.
There's that weird EL in there that's really throwing me off.
Yeah, I think it's like Buchnikov.
Buchelnikov.
Buchnikov.
All right. We're just going to call him Dmitry. Dmitry is a 22-year-old forward. He is playing in the KHL right now. He was drafted 52nd overall, so in the 2nd round. And he's got 23 points in 39 games, like I said, in the KHL right now. We also received Justin Hull, who is I think like a 34-year-old defenseman, or he's up there. Just a depth replacement, so we don't have to play all of our young guys every single minute. Like sometimes they're going to need to go up in the stands and watch a game occasionally. So Justin, thoughts on that return?
I liked this move, and the thing that was weird with this one was it kept getting changed. So like we saw the pick, we saw the picks, and then Hall got added, and then the Dmitry kid got added last, and it just kind of kept coming and coming, and I was like, man, this is going to end. Justin Hall for me, he's definitely just a depth piece on that blue line. I will say, despite my thoughts on him that I had when the trade happened, he played a very good game the other night. So he did play a great game as his first as a Blue. If he keeps it simple and doesn't try to do too much and just shoots the puck when he has it and gets it off his stick quick, I'm fine with him in the lineup. I think he did a good job. As for the Dmitry kid, his KHL numbers seem to be pretty good. Hopefully, he can pan out to be, something, maybe a hidden gem, but I don't think you're going to get much out of him. At best, you would possibly see him at a bottom 6 role if he was ever to make it in that type of role. But I don't know. This Blues team is so deep, I think, for the future that it's going to be tough for him to find a spot on this team, I think. But you got your picks, a solid pick. You get a 1st rounder, and you get the 3rd. I'm fine with this one. I don't think it's as good as the Shin trade, but I think it's still good. Like, I don't think it's as great as the Shin trade, I should say, but it's still good in my opinion.
Dakota?
Just want to say, as a whole, I think both trades we ended up getting an absolute bonus out of all of those. Is, we're in a sort of a rebuild or a retool, whatever the hell we want to call it at the end of the day. But getting picks is only going to make your team better. It may not be better now, but it's going to be better down the road. And the Blues have done a really good job of utilizing their assets in the AHL, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to draft really good talent. Our scouts are really, really impressive when it comes to drafting young talent. You can see that in Jimmy Snuggerud and Dalibor Dvorsky and Otto Stenberg. I mean, it's so good, like what they do for scouting. So I'm very impressed that we got as many picks as we did. Justin Hall, an added depth piece. Nobody really saw that coming, but hey, I would have traded a box of rocks for Justin Falk just to get him off the payroll. But I mean, at this point, I really do appreciate Doug Armstrong not sitting on his hands and getting things done. I made a post on Facebook, and I immediately had to bite my tongue because he ended up trading away Shen 10 minutes later. So I quickly stuck my foot in my mouth. But I'm glad he did something. I'm glad he at least set Steen up for a little bit of a success with the draft picks and whatnot. But good riddance, Doug Armstrong. Hope the door doesn't hit you on the way out. But happy to see what Steiner does as GM.
All right. I actually, to me, I like this trade better as far as looking at the future, because you essentially got a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick for Justin Falk. That second rounder just already being used on Dimitri. But you got a first, second, and third, where the Shen, you got a first and a third. You got a much better NHL player in Jonathan Drouin than you did in the Falk trade with Hall. But then you got a late round goalie, and those are just, that's
they're wishy-washy for sure, but goalies can go later. They usually do. For me, the reason I said that I favored the Shin trade, and like I said, this is going to get a little bit into why I believe that this team is still in a retool. I think it's in a redefined, like a replacement retool, because if you take note of how Doug answered this question about, okay, hey, do you find yourself still in a rebuild, or are you going for the rebuild, or are you going for the retool? He never answered the question directly. He never answered it. So for me, if this team was going to be a rebuilding team, Thomas or Kyrou would have been gone. It still could happen. If those two guys are gone off this team in the offseason at any point, this team is going through a rebuild, and that speaks 1,000 words. The actions do. You don't have to tell me. This team is going to be a rebuilding team. The fact that those two guys are still on this team, and you still have so many good pieces on this team is still in a retool, because I don't think this team is that far off. I really don't. They need to figure out the issues. They need to change the old guard into the new guard, and they did that with trading Shen and Falk. The old guard is out, and you're permanently seeing the new guard come in.
Yeah. You also got rid of about $13 million in cap space. And the only person that you really need to re-sign that's worrying right now is Dylan Holloway. So you have plenty of cap in order to re-sign him, as well as plenty of cap to go after anyone you want to in free agency. If you don't think Tyler Tucker's cutting it, or you don't think that Matthew Kessel's going to cut it, you can fill those gaps in for that third line D. Or maybe it's time for Adam Jiricek. Maybe you bring him up and you have him and Theo Lindstein starting the years with the Blues next year.
Adam Jiricek's going to be something. I think Adam Jiricek's going to be something really special for this team. I really do. I feel the same way about not on the defensive side, but Justin Carbonell. I think Justin Carbonell is going to come in and play fantastic for this team too. I think that kid's going to embody the Blues type of hockey that you want to see.
Mm-hmm. All right. Cody did kind of give us an update on what he knows about Dimitri. He says, speedy winger, more offense first, spent the last 2 years in the KHL at 22, which that is, I would imagine, I'm not super up to date with the KHL, but playing in the KHL at 22 years old has to be a pretty impressive feat. I mean, he was drafted in the second round. He is still unsigned, so he has not signed his entry-level deal, which is why he's still over there. Oh, nice. Cody's got us here too on Gidloff, huge goalie, 6'7". Played in the U20s as the backup for Sweden and had really good numbers for them. Also spent the last 2 years in the SHL and has been solid. Kelsey's going to turn us off. She did not like that I did that.
You're too old for that shit.
Yeah, but I teach middle schoolers, so it's okay. Now it's just funny.
After what he just said, after what he just did, Dakota, I don't have to answer any more questions from this guy, right?
No shit. And
take it away.
It doesn't matter except for this case.
I didn't hear exactly what happened after that because it cut out. But we were talking about the goalie, right? The prospect goalie that they got in return from the Islanders.
Yeah. Cody just said that played in the under 20s. He was the backup for Sweden, but had good numbers and is currently playing in the SHL. Has for the last 2 years, which kind of brings me to a very quick next point. Is that another Blues prospect of ours? Louvre, is it Louvre? Is that how we're pronouncing that?
I think it's just Love Handstrom or Love.
Okay.
Love. What's his last name?
Haremstrom.
Handstromer, right? Yeah. I think Love Handstromer or something.
Guys with the last name of Smith, like where are they at?
Yeah,
he's gonna be, or he is up for the MVP vote in the second division of the SHL. I believe it's like the Hockey Alvards Con. I don't know. So, like I said,
yeah, I think he's had a pretty good year for himself. I think he's grown. Goalies are a little different. Like I said, goalies go later, obviously, unless you have a really, really studded goalie that you know for sure is going to pan out for you. Goalies are like a hit or miss, I feel like. You can draft them late, and they could be, surprises for you. As for me, the goaltending is going to be a little bit more challenging next season because I'm still on the boat of you got to get something for Jordan Binnington. I'm sorry, the Jordan Binnington era for St. Louis is coming to an end, and it's coming slowly but surely. And the Joel Hofer era is beginning. And as for the guys in your system right now, I don't think any of them are particularly ready for a backup role for this team. So
you traded a guy the way that was.
Well, no, he got claimed on waivers.
Claimed on waivers.
Yeah, he got claimed on waivers. But see, the thing is I get what you're saying, Dakota, on that one, but you can't really help that. Buffalo was aggressive. I first of all, I don't know why Buffalo even did it. They had when they did that, they had 4 or 5 goalies that they could literally play on their roster when they claimed Ellis. So they literally signed Georgiev and then they waived him or something like that. So they didn't know what they were doing over there. They got a great goalie. That was your next ready guy. But for me, outside of that, after Bennington's gone, I don't know who you're going to put in net. For me, I actually wanted to see Joseph Wall possibly come to St. Louis in a trade with Toronto for Bennington. I don't know how likely that is, considering Toronto's a crapshoot right now too. But I thought a return like who is it? Joseph Wall to St. Louis, seeing as he's from St. Louis, it's hard to play in your hometown or your home city. So that would be some weight on his shoulders. But I think you get 2 young goalies right there for the future and moving forward. My guy on our show has a lot of – he wants a veteran presence back there to help Hofer. And although I understand that, there's not a lot of veteran guys that I want. We talked about Quick was possibly a guy that you can go after. But, one season of veteran presence, yeah, it's fantastic. But Hofer has that now in Jordan Binnington and veteran presence. So, yep. Just my thought.
Guy did post on here earlier. He must be watching. He said, go check out the Blue Note fan report. So, yeah, we'll be done probably within 30-ish minutes, hopefully less. And then you guys can catch Justin as well as Guy on the Blue Note fan report during the game. I want to kind of go into the game that's starting or is going to be starting here in about 30 minutes. And something I found interesting is all of our picks from 2023. Our first round picks will be playing in this game tonight. Dvorsky has already been playing quite a bit. Stenberg was up for quite some time before being sent down and is now back. And then Theo Lindstein is getting his NHL debut. So tonight, this evening for the Blues, we have 9 players that are under 24 years old, and 8 of them are first round picks playing for the St. Louis Blues. That includes Philip Broberg, Dylan Holloway, Jake Neighbors, Logan Mailloux, Theo Lindstein, Jimmy Snuggerud, Dalibor Dvorsky, and Otto Stenberg. And then the 9th one is Jack Finley, who was a second-round pick for Tampa Bay. Justin, for you, how excited are you to see this game and see these young guys, or just for the future in general?
I think it's both. I think that this is going to be exciting because the young guys are hungry. See, on any team you watch, like you watch a lot of the times when the Blues play a young team, and you see how hungry they are. You know, take San Jose for instance. You see the hunger, you see the fight in them, that they're getting better and better. Like I said, I've stated I don't think the Blues are that far off, but the fact that this team traded Braden Shen, traded Justin Falk, and the fact that I feel that they've played free hockey since then, obviously it's a small sample size, they played really good hockey since the break. And you just have some of the prospects that you're looking at. Jimmy Snugglebug, as I call him, playing fantastic with Robert Thomas, which is why I got on people so much for why you would want Robert Thomas off this team. I know the return would be amazing, but you have the prospect of him playing with Jimmy Snuggerud for years to come. That could be something special. Jordan Kyrou playing with Holloway, of course, if they can rekindle that type of magic. Kyrou possibly playing with Dvorsky, sliding Dvorsky into that second line center spot that they want Dvorsky at eventually. So the young guys is just very exciting. I feel the hunger out there. I felt the hunger since the break, and I think that this team is going to do some good things. So,
Dakota, you ready for this young gun takeover?
I've been ready. I'm very excited to kind of see what we have in store. I mean, like tonight, like the lines have definitely shifted since we brought up Theo Lindstein and Otto Stenberg. Like tonight, like I mentioned before, it should be Otto Stenberg, it's Pavel Buchnevich and Jonathan Drouin. And then you got, I think, Thomas, Snuggie, and Holloway on the first line. And then you have, I'm forgetting a couple, but that's Neighbors and Kyrou and Dvorsky, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, that to me, it seems stacked. It's a very loaded top 9. I won't even say top 6. All those guys that we just mentioned are really good NHL players and can really shoot the puck well. It's just a matter of finding the dirty areas of the ice. They interviewed Jimmy Snuggerud, I think, after last game, and they were like, "What the hell changed after the break?" And he was like, "It's just chemistry. Like, you just try to find the people you play really good with, and then you try to develop that chemistry." Him and Thomas alone have simultaneously developed this really nice chemistry where they already know where each other's going to be on the ice. And that's something that you just can't, it just doesn't happen. It has to develop. It has to get there. And you've seen what they've done with it, right? I think they're plus 12 in the last 5 games. And I think it's like something along the lines of double-digit points, right? So like that to me is a small sample size, but what we should have been having, at the start of our year. So I'm very excited. I've been trying to say, sell the old guys, get the new guys. I'm thoroughly invested in us tanking the rest of the way to get Ivar, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But man, young talent, there's just something about it. Once they hit the ice, they all play the same. Like you mentioned, we have 8 first-round draft picks, and or is it 9? One of the two.
8.
But it's you see the mentality that they have, and Justin mentioned it before, how hungry they are. I mean, these guys have woke up at 4 a.m. to get to early skate sessions as a young kid, and they've dreamed of this dream right here that they're living. Why wouldn't they be hungry? Their job is on the line. Their life is on the line. This is their lifeline, and it's really, really nice to see that the Blues roster is mostly young talent. But guys that play blue collar hockey, I'll exclude Robert Thomas because that dude likes to look at the banners all the time. But it's good to see.
Justin, how do you feel about this St. Louis Blues 4-game win streak? And it's 4 games over some very quality opponents. How do you feel about this?
I mean, it's exciting. I said this before on our show when we were talking about it. It's about the free play, and Dakota, he mentioned it too, that the team just feels hungry. They feel different. They feel, and I'm not saying, like, I'm not on the bandwagon like Guy when we were talking about it. He thinks that, like, he's starting to believe that, like, maybe Braden Shen or Justin Falk was maybe the problem. And I don't particularly think that. I think it's more so a general consensus of the permanent old guard turning it over to the new guard. So what is it? I don't know if it was Joey or Curbs. One of them said when that trade happened and they played the first game, this is Robert Thomas's team now. That's exactly what he said. And, this is Jordan Kyrou's team now. This is Jimmy Snuggerud's team now. This is not Braden Shin's team anymore. This is coming close to Colton Parayko. It's not going to be his team. And it's, I'm still glad Colton Parayko's here. Don't take me out of context or nothing. But the new guard is coming in, and it's coming in hot, and it's good to see this team playing so well after 2 valuable pieces that they had to let go because of just history and just how hockey cycles work.
Well, and they touched on it too, how good it's going to be for the young talent to get as many minutes as they possibly can. Right? You got guys like Justin Falk and you got guys like Braden Shen. They're going to be guys that just eat a ton of ice time because they're veterans. They've earned the right to. But you're going to get to see guys like, what was it? Why did I just blank on his name? Holy shit.
Logan Mailloux. Logan
Mailloux getting more power play time on the D side of things. Like, we're just going to start circulating the puck to whatever forward we try to slot in there. I mean, you're going to see Dalibor Dvorsky get more ice time on the power play. It's like, that's what these guys need. In order to be experienced NHL players, they need the ice time to get the reps, to get the understanding of how the NHL game is played. And opening these trades and having these trades happen is only going to benefit their careers down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, well, and I also think, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jacob. I know you're about to talk.
You're good.
The fact of with Colton Parayko, how we talked about how we're glad that he's still here, and I am. And I think the Blues are doing something right in this game. Obviously, it's his first game back in a couple of games. He's been out with the back spasms. But this is what you should want. Colton Parayko is here, but Colton Parayko, we should be leaning towards him trying to get less minutes, maybe so he's not injury prone. I don't think I think this is the first actual time that he's actually been out for an extended period of time. But get him less minutes. Give more minutes to the younger guys. Philip Broberg has been absolutely outstanding, and obviously, as you guys know, I'm a big Philip Broberg fan. I mean, that guy just is incredible to me. The fact that Edmonton gave up on him, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. He's good offensively. He's good defensively. He can do both, and he's really shining something bright for this team. So it's good to see that they're trying to lessen maybe Colton Parayko's minutes and give more shots to like a Logan Mailloux and, hopefully develop more of Theo Lindstein, also. So.
Yeah, Theo is playing with Parayko tonight, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. It's always, it's nice to see like, Theo Lindstein's on the first line, but they also have Cam Fowler on the third line, and he's probably going to play more than Theo Lindstein will tonight, depending on how it goes. I would not be surprised to see Cam move up and be paired with Parayko every once in a while as the game goes on. One name you guys both forgot as you were talking about whose team it is now. And Greg brought it up. Is Jake Neighbors.
Chill out, everyone. Greg, chill out.
You're on this. You're on this too, right, Dakota? I know what you're talking about, like the captaincy talk and everything. How everything's been going crazy with that.
Already beat you to it.
Jake Neighbors doesn't even have hair on his chest. What makes you think he can lead a team of men?
Let's
be honest here, folks.
I'm sorry, and I love Jake Neighbors, but I'm in the same boat as Dakota. Why does everyone have to jump to the automatic? Let's make him captain. Why can't you make him? Why can't you make him assistant captain? Why can't you make him an A before he's a C? If you want to make him a C later on in his career, yeah, I mean he's got the A right now. But I'm saying what I would do if I'm the Blues, I would give. Now I'm leaning towards this guy. Obviously, I'd like to see a little bit more of the attitude, the hanging your head, all that. Obviously, we talked about that with Thomas, but Thomas is probably your captain. He should be. You shouldn't pass a guy like Thomas up for captain. Captain Thomas, Parayko is your permanent A. I think you should give the assistant captain for home ice to Jake Neighbors, and you should give the other A for the away to Philip Broberg. That's exactly what I would do. I would do that.
For me, my dark horse for captain is Philip Broberg. He is. No. I sent out a poll on Facebook, and most people voted either Thomas or it was Thomas, Neighbors, Parayko, and Broberg. And I think only like 3% of the people voted Broberg. But if you think about it, like Ryan O'Reilly was not here long before he became the captain of the St. Louis Blues. So if that's your only reason for saying Broberg can't be it, it's because he hasn't been here long. Like that point's invalid, and he's been one of our best players.
Absolutely.
But you also have Parayko, who's been here longer, if you want to go that route.
Yeah, if it's not Thomas, I think it should be Neighbors or Parayko. And those are guys that I think represent the Blue the right way. Parayko, most of the Blues captain have been defensemen. And years. So it just kind of fits the mold there. But sorry, go ahead, Justin.
No. I'm agreeing with you guys 100%. Philip Broberg would be nice to see too. For me, Philip Broberg, from what I've seen on the ice, I have seen him smile a couple times, but he's not a man that goes out there and smiles a bunch. He's a guy that's really like I'm all business, buddy. Like I'm doing my thing, and I'm getting my games in, getting my money, and going home. He just has that type of mentality, and I don't know how he is in the locker room. Maybe he's a little bit more open, but he would be a great choice. Like I said, I think your captaincy is between Robert Thomas is my front runner. Obviously, you have Neighbors, you have Parayko, you have Broberg. Those are your guys right there that are going to be captain material, captain talk. Just for me, I think that you don't really have to make Parayko a captain. You can keep him as a permanent A, and it would be okay. I just, for me, there's certain guys that absorb a captain's energy and an assistant captain energy, and that's okay. That's not a shot at Colton Parayko. It's the same way I feel about Jordan Kyrou. I don't think Jordan Kyrou should be a captain. I don't think he should be anywhere near that discussion. And I don't even think you give him an A either. I mean, you could if you were really ballsy, but I don't think you even give him an A. I just don't think that he. Yeah, I just don't think he absorbs that type of energy, and that's not a diss on any of them. I think there's a bunch of great guys on this team, but wouldn't it be crazy though if they're like, what if the rumors start flying and circulating? Oh yeah, we should make Nathan Walker the captain.
I've got one for you. The Blues haven't done this yet, but there have been teams in the NHL that do this a lot.
Not very many. A lot, unless I'm thinking something different than what you're thinking.
Why don't we goalie? Just go? No, Jimmy Snuggerud.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say a goalie.
Yeah. Generational talent. You know you're gonna build the team around him. That might piss off a lot of the other guys in the room because I mean that dude can barely buy a beer legally.
He can't. He's not.
It's like
I think he can. He's 21.
Yeah, he can. Sorry. I think he's 20. He's 21. I believe.
So yeah, Stenberg cannot. They're 20.
Who knows? I'm curious because I believe that the Blues don't just give the C to anybody. In regards to Eric Brewer, that was a mistake. I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. But other than that,
absolutely,
we just don't give the C to anybody.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a discussion. There's going to be talks. There's going to be this. There's going to be that, and we're not going to see captain obviously for the rest of the season. And heck, I don't bank on their being a captain going into next season. They could go into next season without a captain. They might say, "Oh, you guys have to earn that spot or earn that role." I don't know how good that would do for the team standpoint. I feel like you probably want a captain going into the season, especially with how many pieces you have on this team. But the decision will be made in the offseason at the earliest. And then maybe into the season, maybe you'll see a captain named.
All right. Just kind of sorting through the comments here. We do have a couple people on the Thomas won't be on this team anymore. Cody says, what happens when Thomas gets traded this offseason? And Greg is saying, love Thomas, but he thinks that Thomas wants out. So hard to give the captaincy to somebody who won't be here. Kelsey had a funny question, and she says it is coming from a new Blues fan. She says, why not Sundqvist? I'll give you the easy answer, Kelsey, is you typically want somebody who is playing.
Yeah. First of all, we talk about Robert Thomas not being on. Sundqvist is not going to be on this team when this team is competitive again, right. and in a playoff spot. There's too many, and I love Sundqvist. I love his energy. He's a locker room guy, but Sundqvist is not going to be on this roster when the Blues are in the playoffs, competitive. Possible Stanley Cup contenders again. It's not going to happen. Sundqvist is getting old. He's not the Sundqvist he used to be, and that's okay. But yeah, he won't be on this team when this team is competitive again.
Yeah, Sundqvist is one of those guys that is the locker room guy. You need that type of player, but just not going to be a captain. To be a captain, you almost need to be that locker room guy, but you also need to be good. You're going to have to be both. And unfortunately, Sonny's on the bottom end of his downhill here. So
that's actually a good point that you bring that up, Jacob, because that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't stick the captaincy immediately on Neighbors, because although I love the kid, he's very smart for such a young age. I would not stick him with the captaincy because he's not he's a leader as of a personality base, and he could be that Shin type of guy, but he is very streaky when it comes to his play. Yeah, he was one of the best Blues to start the year off when he got injured, but he's never regained that type of what is it? He's never regained that since the beginning of the season. So I think that's another
third liner. That could be his cap. Like we could see Stenberg eventually kind of take over. Holloway stays, so he's up there, and Neighbors, who you give the captaincy to, could be your third line left winger.
Yeah, you could do that. Well, and for me, I think that's probably where you're going to be going, because although like I said, I love Jake Neighbors, it is okay that he possibly caps out at a third line. I mean, that's okay. I mean, that's exactly where Braden Shin should have been playing, and he wasn't because of what we had on this team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So,
all right. I think that was everything I had down. The young guys taking over, the Falk trade, the Shen trade, the Colton Parayko not trade.
What are we thinking about tonight's game? Braden Shen back in the house. I've already told Jacob off the air, but I'll say it on the air. This is going to be one of those things that if it happens, I might just buy a lotto ticket. But I'm going Braden Shen, Jake Neighbors fight.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
You heard it here, folks. It's 6:25 right here. If this happens, all bets are off. Then I will say I'll bow down. I'll say it's Neighbors as captain. But I'd love to see him duke it out.
Yeah, that would be very fun. This should be an exciting game. Obviously, the trade being so close to when it actually happened. I'm feeling good about this game, to be honest. I think the return for Braden Shin is obviously your storyline there, but I think the Blues have a lot of storylines in this game, and I think that it may triumph the return because you have Theo Lindstein, who's making his rookie lap tonight, playing his debut game. You have Colton Parayko with the Colton Parayko haters and doubters right now. He's going to have to prove people wrong, which I believe he will tonight. And then you have some of these younger guys, stepping up in a bigger role. So, those three storylines compared to Braden Shin coming back, it might triumph the return and maybe sour the return for Braden Shin, possibly getting a win against his former club tonight.
I'm sure they'll have a pretty awesome, video to show. There will be a good standing ovation for him. There at least better be. I don't see why anyone wouldn't.
They always do. That's the one thing that the Blues do really, really well is their presentation when a player may leave. Anything that they got to do for a special occasion, they do a fantastic job with that type of stuff. They always do.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see. We talked about the young guys playing hard, going to the net, whatever it is. But also Braden Shen trying to kind of establish his role on his new team, and he goes and hits Snuggerud, just goes, lays him out, and then Holloway gets in there, our neighbors gets in there, and just watch Braden Shen after the whistle. That's going to be the most entertaining part of this game is Braden Shen after the whistle. What does he do? That's definitely going to be fun.
It's going to be enjoyable, and I think although we lost the presence and the physicality and the rat-like stuff that Braden Shin could do, I think that you still got some tough guys on this team when they want to be tough, when they want to play for each other. Hell, you look at the hit that Holloway threw in the game the other night. I mean, he absolutely blasted somebody 15 seconds into the game. Yeah, and he's already into a scrap. I mean, and partially I think that's probably the reason why Dylan Holloway is so injury prone is because he plays that type of style. Dylan Holloway does not have to play the style that he plays, but he does, and that's why he's a blue collar, and that's why I think he fits so well here because he's a blue collar worker.
Mm-hmm. Dakota, Greg's doubling down or maybe tripling down on your fight bet. And he's going fight, goal, and assist for Braden Shen tonight.
Let's do it.
I'd love to see the Snuggerud Thomas connection work again. They've been fantastic. Thomas, I think, has had 2 points in every game that he's been back so far. So,
I think he's got 5 goals and 5 assists in his last 6 games or something. I think is what it was.
Yeah. But we wanted to part ways with Robert Thomas. Sorry, haters. Sorry, but I'm a big Robert Thomas guy. I think it would have been a bad move for this team. Obviously, for the future, sure, you get assets, you get Hall back. But like I said, I'm still in the bandwagon, like Dakota is. I think where I didn't want to blow this up. I'm not in the camp of blow this up because I don't think it's that far off. I think you just need to figure out the pieces that you needed to move out. Replace those pieces, and I think the Blues are going to be at it again.
Well, I posted something yesterday that said that there are 19 games for the Blues left this season, counting tonight's game, and they essentially need to win 12 of them to have a 5% chance to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think it was 13 to have a 40% chance and 14 to win or to have a 60% chance. So, Justin, are you hoping for the long odds of somehow finding a way going on a 12-game win streak here, or we should probably lose these games and get the higher draft pick? I'm sorry. It may be an unpopular opinion for most because I've seen a lot of it. I'm not on the tank bandwagon, and I don't like the word tank because I don't particularly think anybody particularly tries to tank. They're all professional athletes. They all get paid. So I don't think they particularly really tank for, on purpose. Some teams may, but I don't think that's just in the Blues DNA. I think the Blues always fight hard. They always try to compete, even if they're not the most competitive team. But someone was asking us if I think that the Blues are going to make the playoffs. I don't think it's very doubtful that they make the playoffs. Can they statistically still make it? Absolutely they can. They need to focus on winning their games. They don't need to focus on what other teams do. If they really want to make a push for something, they need to worry about their game and their game alone, and they can do it because we've seen it. We saw it last year. We saw it in 2019. This team can make a comeback, but for me,
you have games coming up against teams that are actually ahead of you. So that was the first time we played San Jose. San Jose is a team in front of you. If you can beat San Jose in the next 2 games, that's 4 points that you're taking away from game. It was
we lost you there for a half second, Justin.
Well, I just was saying we have teams that the Blues are going to be playing against that are ahead of the Blues. So if they can
Did you lose him again?
God
Maybe
damn it, does it keep cutting out?
There you are.
It just keeps cutting out. But no, there's teams, like I said, that was the first time you played San Jose. You have 2 more games against San Jose. That's 4 points right there that you can take away from San Jose. They're ahead of you. Anaheim, I believe you still have another game against Anaheim. Anaheim's ahead of you. There's teams that the Blues will be playing that are ahead of them. So if they can just play their game and not worry about what ifs and just play their game and win games, anything's possible. Anything. So it's small, but there's a chance.
Dakota, what are you rooting for here? The 12-game win streak to get us back in the playoff race, or the let's suck and top 5 pick?
I'm a Blues fan through and through, so I got to root for the wins. I know I want to see them just fucking plummet and just get out of our Stenberg, but damn it, I miss winning hockey. It's like a drug, damn it. Like you just want it. You need it, you want it, and you're just like, okay, cool. We couldn't find a streak if it hit us in the face all season long, and now we're doing it. Now we're streaking. So yeah.
But you think about it like this though. If the Blues do win, people are forgetting the Blues still have 2 first round picks. If they really, really wanted to, and they really wanted to take a chance at winning games and really making a streak and having a streak and trying to make the plus, they can still use those first round picks and bundle those some bitches up and try to get lower or higher in the draft if they really wanted to. That's an option. If that's what you really think you can possibly do, that's not off the table. You can still trade those first round picks. This draft is deep. So if you bundle those up, possibly maybe with a player or maybe just the picks in general, maybe you can move even closer down. Obviously, you probably won't get top 3 where I think Stenberg is going to go. Yeah. But you can still do that if you really wanted to. But again, I'm going to root for the wins. I'm going to root for maybe a miracle comeback. And if they do it again, I don't know. I don't know what to come on here and say if they do it again.
If they do it again, then we'll just never watch the first half of the season. It'll be why?
It'll be pointless.
All right. It's almost game time. Well, technically it should be game time, but it's on TNT tonight. So even though it says 6:30 start, it won't be till like 7:10 till they actually drop the puck. It's TNT.
TNT, dynamite.
We are going to get out of here. A lot of things to tell you about first. We told you about scooters earlier. Make sure you guys are checking out scooters. If you can, check out the ones in Highland, Illinois or Collinsville, Illinois. Otherwise, you can check the other 30 locations in the greater St. Louis area. Check out Hughes Custom Design on Facebook for your hand-painted wood carving needs. They got blue notes for you or whatever else you would like. And then check out Imprint Labs for pretty much anything else. If you want a mouse pad, if you want a shirt, if you want a hat, whatever it is that you want, they'll put your logo on something. So check out those 3 companies. Make sure you come hang out with us on Thursday at Fridays South in Collinsville. Tons of giveaways, tons of fun, good food, beer, atmosphere, and maybe a 6th Blues win on the record here for Thursday. And then as we get off here, Justin will be hopping on to the Blue Note fan report with Guy, the Hawaii Blues guy. What's he go? Hawaii Blues fan? Is that what...
Yeah, the Hawaii Blues fan.
Hawaii Blues fan. So you guys can check out Justin and Guy during the Blues game tonight. All right. Justin, anything else?
I'm going to say Blues 4-2 win. I'm going to say Braden Shin gets a point. I'm going to say Robert Thomas gets 2 points again, and I'm going to say Colton Parayko gets on the stat sheet.
Gets up with like a hit.
I'm gonna be bold, and I'm going to say he gets an assist.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go gold number 2 for the
No. But see, well, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to get into a big rant. I'm not someone that sits here and says that Colton Parayko has to score. I wish he did score a bit more. But all the people that want Parayko to be some Cale Makar offensive juggernaut, he's never been that. He never will be that. We know what we're getting with Colton Parayko. We're getting a solid defenseman. That's what he's paid for. He's not paid to score. We'd like to see him score more, but that's not what he's paid for. So let's be honest.
Right. All right. Dakota, anything else?
No, let's go Blues.
All right. Justin, give me a big let's go Blues, and we'll get out of here.
Let's go Blues.
All right. See you, everybody.